Hey everybody, welcome back to another QuickCast video. This one is going to be about getting your own code to run in GMForge. So this is a developer friendly video, so if you're more of a casual user, you probably won't get a whole lot out of this. But to start off, GMForge is written in JavaScript. So you should be familiar with JavaScript and jQuery before you start doing anything in GMForge. So the idea behind GMForge was is going to be a platform for modding, for change, for just adding your own components and details and apps pretty easily. So if you want to get your own code running, all you have to do is navigate to the public scripts folder and then create a new file. Add your code to this file and it will execute when you start up a server. So in this case, I'll just type in alert, hello world. And then when I launch my server, it'll say hello world. That's simple to get your code running. So next up, I want to show you how to make a mod and then how to use that mod on a character sheet. Potentially, you could write your own character sheet purely from code and avoid the JSON native language that I provide in the tool. So to get started, all we have to do is write a sync render app. So without going into too much detail, which I will do on the documentation, I have a sync render app here that's written just to increment a number when you click a button. So I'm going to break this down for you right now, but I made a library in GMForge known as sync, and it's a library that basically just dumps UI and rebuilds it every time a data object is updated. The data objects can connect to multiple DOM elements, which means, multiple HTML elements can update at the same time a change happens to a common data structure. So here I've registered my function by overloading the sync render function here, and I basically store a function into a global object that you can call to generate the app's appearance. So here it writes a button that increments a number once and then it updates. So you'll notice up here, by default, when you click something here, there is no data object attached. So you have to instance a data object by calling the sync.obj method and then basically assign your data to it. The data can be anything you want. You can use different fields, but all the helper methods live at the top of it, and then I usually build my apps using data as a place to store app data or like stuff I want to change. I usually don't overload the top level. So once you've written your app, and I'm using jQuery here, by the way, you can push this app by using the push method of an array on the game components, which is an array of just custom apps. Here I define the name, I define the actual identifier that's up here, and I define the initial width and height in percentages. So this would be half the screen's width, and then this would be half the screen's height. And then the basic text is just for explaining what it is, and then I can optionally add a author by putting in the author. Great, so once I do that, I simply refresh or re-instance my server, and you'll notice it loaded my script, and I can go over to the options, and you'll notice custom app appears right here, and when I click on it, a app is created with a button, and it increments every time I do that. So that's pretty much all there is to it for adding apps. I'll be breaking down the actual structure of the game object and how to run macros and such in the documentation, which I'll upload and be working on over the next couple weeks. But the last thing I want to show you is how to take this app and replace a character sheet with the app. So I'm just going to make a new actor. I can go into the sheet, I'll make it a blank sheet, and then I can right click, go to the raw JSON, and then replace this display field with the UI field. And I can type in custom app, and optionally define a scope if I want to. In this instance, I don't have an example on how to use scope, but you can basically check out the other things I've written in the public core JS, or check out the GitHub, which has all my source files up and ready for you to explore. So once you do that, then you stop editing, you'll notice this button appears. Now, because this isn't a character object, the data inside is structured differently. Because, as you know before, in the other app, it set data to be 0. However, a data on a actor is a little bit more complicated. So the app displays, but it's not displaying correctly. I can simply make a change so that it will display correctly. And once I've made those changes, I can navigate back to the sheet, and then you'll see that the increment happens. So that's about all there is to this video. I hope it helped. I'll be doing the documentation and explaining more about the tool. But yeah, getting your own apps to run if you wanted to make character generators or things of that nature, or just even add more interesting UI components to put on your character sheets, it's pretty easy to do. So anyways, as always, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.